DP Josephine was trying to reach me, but I'm having problems on the cell, so she can keep trying. If it's urgent, she wants to speak to me before the meeting, so I'm not sure if it has anything to do with the meeting.
Okay.
So let me, is she?
All right, it's being recorded now.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Secretary LaShawn, how are you doing?
I'm okay, Treasurer Desmond.
All right, good.
Go ahead, I'll try and see if this works. Go ahead.
What I want to find out, you see,
Okay, good evening, everyone. This meeting of the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central Surrey Online is now called to order. Let me share my agenda. Okay, you can all see the agenda?
Yes, I can see it.
Thank you. All right, so the preliminaries, national anthem will be played. Invocation will be done by Kiwani and Melvin, and the objects of Kiwanis will be done by Kiwani and Eurydice. Can we stand for the national anthem, please?
You'll have to stop sharing for me to bring up the national anthem.
Okay. Okay, go ahead.
All right, maybe stand for the singing of the national anthem. Over to you, President.
Thank you, Treasurer Desmond. Okay, back for agenda. We will now ask Kiwani and Melvin to pray. Kiwani and Melvin, invocation. Kiwani and Melvin. Don't tell me he fell off. Are you seeing him, DP? Treasurer Desmond?
Yes, I'm seeing him.
So what's happening to him?
PE Jardine is here. Would you like to?
Oh, 1 second, Treasurer Desmond. I'm not seeing Melvin.
Come on, M. Young, is it?
I'm not seeing him at all.
I'm seeing him.
Okay. And are you seeing him or just his name?
Well, see, I seen the name and it implies that he's
All right. I'll pray. Melvin, Kiwan and Melvin. Okay, I'll pray. Let us pray. Lord, we just want to thank you for tonight. We want to thank you, Lord, for waking us up this morning, for allowing us to see another beautiful day. Lord, as we start our Kiwanis meeting to speak about our children that we serve, we ask that you be in the midst of this meeting. Let the meeting be fruitful, and that whatever DLG Bev has to say will not fall on deaf ears. Continue to be with us for the rest of the night and forevermore. Hasten the footsteps of those who will be joining us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. We will now have the objects of Kiwanis by Kiwanian. You ready, see?
Hey, fellow Kiwanians, join me while I reaffirming the objects of Kiwanis Club International. Give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than the material values of life. To encourage the daily living of the golden rule in all human relations. To promote the adoption and the application of higher social values, business, and professional standards. To develop by precept and example a more intelligent, aggressive, and serviceable citizenship. To promote through Kiwanis Club a practical means to form enduring friendships, to render altruistic service, and to build better communities. To cooperate in creating and maintaining that sound public opinion and high idealism which make possible the increase of righteousness, justice, and patriotism and goodwill. Did anybody hear it? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you. Go over to you, President.
So I was talking away and I was muted. I was saying thank you, Kiwan and Eurydice and Treasurer Desmond for assisting in the preliminaries. We will now move over to our welcome and introduction. President-elect Jordan.
Good evening, everyone. Are you hearing me? Good evening,
Yes,
club.
we are.
Okay, so I am President-elect Jordan, and I will be doing the welcome today. So first of all, I'd like to welcome all that are present. A special welcome to you all. I'd like to especially welcome LG Rosemary. Is LG with us at this time?
Yes,
You'll
she
be-
is.
Thank you. Welcome so much, LG. We're so happy to have you today on your official visit.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Are there any visiting clubs at this time? We won't be going through the different divisions. You can just go ahead and unmute and we will acknowledge you.
Good evening, PE. This is IPP Paulette, DivSec 23 Central. As you would have recognized LG Rosemary already, we are here representing FAB, and also on the call at this moment is Treasurer Stacy, and I know that at least 3 others are coming on there, but they're meeting some traffic, so they're trying to navigate the traffic to come on. And we're looking forward to a very interesting and engaging meeting.
Thank you so much, Fab, for joining us today. Any other clubs?
My name is Abuki Reynolds. I'm a member of the Camperdown Key Club, and I would like to wish you all a great meeting, and I hope that I have a great meeting as well.
Okay. Thank you so much, Camperdown Key Club. We were going to actually especially welcome our SLPs, but thank you so much for joining us. Any other Kiwanis Club present?
Yeah, good evening.
Good
I
evening.
bring you cool greetings from the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville. We are here joining in your meeting this evening. We are 9 in numbers, and I am DP Josephine.
Thank you so much. That's a wonderful delegation, and we hope that you will have a great time with us today. Any other clubs?
Good evening. I'm President Kashana from the Kiwanis Club of Greater Portmore. We're happy to be a part of your meeting. With me this evening is IPP Nordia, PD Annette, Secretary Andrea, and our prospect Verna. Thanks for the invitation, and we hope to have a lovely meeting with you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining. Any other Kiwanis clubs present?
Good evening, everyone. This is Director Jelan from the Kiwanis Club of Barbican. I think I'm alone now, but others will be joining shortly. Thanks for the invite.
Thanks so much, Barbican and members. Any other? Okay, if there are no other Kiwanis club, I'd like to pause at this. Go ahead.
Good day, everyone. Although my fellow key club, Jabuki Reynolds, established that Camperdown High School Key Club is here, I would like to bring greetings from our president, as I am the second vice president of the Camperdown High School Key Club. So I want to bring greetings from my president, Sidan Curtis, who is absent for this meeting for personal issues. And I just want to say I'm happy to be here.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us. We know that our SLP programs are the future of Kiwanis, so we are so very happy to have you. Any other Kiwanis clubs present?
Hello, good evening. This is Christopher Humber from the Kiwanis Club of Spanish Town, distinguished president.
Okay, thank you so much for joining us.
I should be having several key clubbers joining with me as I'm the key club administrator. We're here to support President Cheryl and to hear DLG Bev speak on youth protection guidelines.
Okay, and we hope that you and the key clubbers will have a wonderful time with us today. Any other Kiwanis clubs present?
Good evening. My name is Pamela, and I'm from the Kiwanis Club of Lauderdale Lakes in Florida. I bring you greetings and wish you a successful meeting this evening.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us all the way from Florida. Have a great time with us.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, if there are no other Kiwanis clubs, I'd like to pause at this time to acknowledge our head table. With us, we have a President Cheryl. We also have Treasurer Desmond. I saw him on earlier as well. Do we have Secretary Lashon with us as well? Right, I see Secretary Lashon online. Thank you for joining us as well. Do we have the VP Garfield online?
No, it's not.
Okay, VP Garfield, we acknowledge you in absentia. IPP Cheryl, is he here?
Not as yet.
Okay, so we acknowledge him as well in absentia. Okay, so we already heard from some of our SLPs, but I'd like to give another chance for SLPs to go ahead and introduce themselves if they were not already introduced. Do we have any other SLP program members with us today? Okay, if there are no other SLPs, do we have any guests or members?
Yes. I have a guest. Angela.
Okay. Angela?
Yes, Angela. She's there. I saw her earlier.
Right, I see her waving. Thank you so much for joining us, Angela. I see you there. I hope you have a great time with us.
She's joining all the way from New York.
Wow. Yes. We've gone international today. Wonderful. Okay, so we are now at Share It With We. So we are looking at some good news and some bad news. Share it with we. So let's start with the bad news. Do we have any bad news to share? Anyone like to share anything with us? Probably something we can pray about. To share any bad news before I go to the good news? Okay, if there's no bad news, what about good news? Do we have any good news to share?
Yes, PE Jordan, I'd like to share my good news.
Go ahead.
Our last meeting, I was not able to officiate because I was in the hospital, and I am not 100%, but I'm here today and I'm feeling good.
That's awesome, and we are so very happy that you are able to join us today and share the meeting, President. Any other good news? Okay, there's no more good news. We'll now be moving on to birthdays and anniversaries. That's good news. So I want to share with us the birthdays for the month of November for our members. So we want to celebrate with Sharmali Carter, Kiwanian Sharmali, who is actually celebrating her birthday today. So happy birthday to you.
Birthday, Sharmali.
Happy birthday, Sharmali. Is she with us today?
No, I haven't seen her online as yet.
Okay, well, we have been celebrating with her in our WhatsApp group today, and we hope that she has been feeling the love throughout today, and we do wish her a wonderful rest of the day. We also have coming up on November 30, Tashana Wignall's birthday. Is Tashana with us today? Okay, she doesn't seem to be with us, but we do celebrate with her as her birthday will be coming up on the 30th. Are there any other persons online today who are celebrating a birthday or anniversaries during the month of November? You can go ahead and share with us and we will celebrate with you. Okay. If there are no other birthdays and anniversaries, I will hand over back to our chair, President Cheryl. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your meeting.
Thank you so much, PE Jordan. Job well done. Okay, so we'll move on quickly and we'll now go to correspondences. Secretary LaShawn, are there any correspondences?
Hello, good night, everyone. Sorry to say, but there are no correspondence for this meeting tonight.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, I'm going to stop sharing screen for a minute as we catch up. Make we catch up. We're at make we catch up now. Just a second, please. Okay, so since our last meeting, we have one meeting once per month, so we had quite a few activities. We had our board meeting on the 24th of October. Some of the highlights include the minutes were read, amended and confirmed. Treasurer gave his report, which included that we had an appointment at NCB on the 25th of October to open the club's account. The division and KFJ were written to requesting dues invoice. We had reports from all the standing committees. The appointed assistant secretary was approved by the board. We had approval of 6 prospects. The assignment of our club coach, DP Chris Robinson, was reported to the board. And the LG's official visit, which is today, was also reported to the board. The bank accounts are now open and is operational. We continue to ride the interclub in trade aggressively. Thank you, interclubbers. And our SLP committee has started our bug program at the Dunoon Park Technical High School. We continue to solicit support for our seafood fiesta coming up on December 3rd. We ask for your support. Our first bulletin, Sorry Online, for October 2021 was published, and the Public Relations Committee continued to actively showcase 23 CSO and our activities on social media platforms. I know also that our committees are in the process of planning the projects to be executed in November. And that's pretty much what we did since we last met. Let me share back screen. Are you seeing the screen? Are you seeing the agenda?
No, not yet. But you sure you want to put it up?
If I sure want to put it up?
Yeah, because we're seeing each other at the moment. Yes, but I'm not seeing the agenda. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, you should be seeing it now.
Okay.
Okay. So we are now at our LG's official visit. We want to welcome again LG Rosemary to our club in her official capacity as Lieutenant Governor. I will now ask LG Rosie to bring her comments, her remarks. LG Rosie.
Thank you, President. President Cheryl, DG, Bev, DA, Chris, other distinguished Kiwanians or SLP members, fellow Kiwanians and guests, good evening. Happy family, Kiwanis Family Month to all. As we celebrate each branch of our Kiwanis family, the guidelines that allow us to protect the youngest members of our family is so important. And I'm indeed happy to be at 23 CSO who have partnered with DLG Bev to educate and reinforce these guidelines to its members and guests tonight. I'm confident that everyone will learn something new. Through this club, through Kiwanis, you have the ability to change lives, particularly those of a child. It is not a responsibility we can afford to treat lightly. Thank you for your dedication to Kiwanis, for what you do through Kiwanis, for the time you take to promote and safeguard the image of Kiwanis, which allows us to do so much more than we thought possible. More importantly, for being the change you want to see in our world. I have said this before, and more than likely you will hear it again, as it's worth repeating. No, more than ever, kids need Kiwanis. They need you and I. Now is the time for us to come together in service for their benefit, within our division, across the vision, and also a service organization to create a world where our children feel safe, can thrive, and achieve their full potential. As we continue to serve throughout this year and beyond, I urge you.
LG, you're muted.
Yes, I realize, so I unmute again. But instead, to keep at the forefront your purpose, the reason why you joined Kiwanis, the reason why you became a Kiwanian, and allow this to drive your passion for service so that you always feel the rush to serve people, your fellow Kiwanians and those most vulnerable in our society. Thank you for inviting me to join you this evening. I look forward to the presentation. I know we'll have a good evening. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, LG Rosie, and welcome again to your official visit here. And we, 23 Central, we look forward to the upcoming month's activities that we will be doing together.
Thank you.
Okay, so now it's time for our main event, which we have advertised. It's the Youth Protection Guidelines, and our speaker will be none other than DLG Bev. She needs no introduction. She's also our past coach for 23, club coach for 23 Central. I will stop sharing screen there. You need to just present, right? To put up something.
Yes, I do, President.
Okay. Right, so I'll stop sharing. So you may go ahead now.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I would just like to, let me get my, okay, fine. No, good evening, everyone. And I'm seeing that all 48 of you are here to listen and to ask questions on this evening's presentation. But first of all, thank you very much, President Cheryl, for inviting me. LG Rosie, welcome. And also I must welcome our DA, District Administrator Chris, and also I saw our ADA, Audrey Brown, online. I'm not sure there are any other members of the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston on, but if they are, I want to say thank you for the support. Now, this topic is such an important topic. And so I would like you to really listen and to digest and to regurgitate, do whatever, but let us get involved. And so I'm going to share my screen. It says I'm disabled, Prez. Says I'm disabled.
Okay, one sec. Let me, I think I might have to make.
Go ahead now. Go ahead, dear G.
Okay.
Okay, so the topic of the day, the year, the month, everything is, we want to know why youth protection matters. I've been having some very interesting meetings recently, and even they're so interesting that some things have come out of these meetings that we are now going to be looking into and getting more information. But for what it is, we will speak about it this evening, and whatever changes there are going to be. But what I can tell you is that you need to get ready for the youth protection policies that are going to be enforced. And so I want everybody to be on board and to understand exactly why youth protection matters. Now, through Kiwanis, we're serving over 300 youth per year. And that's a lot of kids to serve. Okay, I forgot to really thank SLP members who are online. Thank you so much for joining, and this should prove very important to you too, and I hope you will enjoy the presentation. Now, during childhood across all ages, children have been experiencing child sexual abuse. The statistics show that 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 13 boys, and this is in the United States. In Jamaica, we have reported over 10,000 cases of child abuse in 2020, over 10,000 cases. Sexual abuse accounted for 20% of these reports. Since coronavirus, there's been an increase in parishes such as St. Thomas, St. Elizabeth, St. Mary, and Portland. And you will agree with me that yes, St. Thomas, because we have had recent happenings out there in St. Thomas. And fellow Kiwanians, SLP, our children are suffering in silence because most of them are silent. So these figures might even be a little higher than what I'm telling you. 1 in 4 girls in Jamaica and 1 in 6 boys under the age of 18 experience sexual abuse. And this is at the hands of friends and relatives. Can you imagine? People that they know. 96% of people who sexually abuse children are male. 76% are married men. 76.8% of persons who sexually abuse our children are adults. And we're talking about adults. We are adults in the Kiwanis movement. We are adults. And so we have to think again. Abusers tend to use a process called grooming. What does that mean? In order to gain trust from their abused the children, they show special attention to these kids. They fill them with their needs. They buy them gifts, expensive gifts. They give them food, and they offer them rides. And so I was on a meeting recently where one of them, let me say that, she really responded when the questions came around. She responded to say that her mother always told her not to take rides from anybody that they don't know. They're not to take rides. So you see, it's reaching somewhere, and at least she understood what her mother was trying to say. So sexual abuse and other forms of abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, all of that is happening. What do the abusers have in common? Abusers have privacy, they have access, and they have control. Now, we are, in Kiwanis, we are afforded all of this. We are afforded privacy of the children, we have access, and we have control. And again, I say abuse is usually at the hands of a known acquaintance or a family member, not strangers, not strangers. Remember that. More than 90% of abusers are people children know. They love them and they trust them. Hence, 85% of them will never report their abuse. Because why? They trust the persons. And they never thought that this person would want to do it. And they feel that, oh, okay, I'm not going to do me anything, him don't mean anything, or she don't mean anything. But they will not report. And this can be a problem. It is a problem when we don't know. You know, the children know what is happening, but they are so afraid to report. Now, here's a topic we really don't like to talk about, suicide. And yet, suicide is the second leading cause of death in children and adolescents in the United States. Now, in Jamaica, we have had attempted suicide, 60%, okay, are below the age of 25. Can you imagine? 60%. We recently heard about 3 suicides. Children the age of 2 and 8 years old. 2 8-year-olds and 1 2-year-old. Now, my goodness, think about it, 2 years old. So we never like to think about suicide. Suicide is the second leading cause of death in 15 to 29 age group globally. And some of the risk factors really, you know, that exposure to violence, impulsive behavior, aggressive and disruptive behavior, access to firearms, bullying. Who would think bullying would lead a person or a child to want to kill themselves? But yes, both bullying online and face-to-face. And of course, feeling of hopelessness and helplessness. We as Kiwanians, we have been experiencing a lot of these feelings of hopelessness or helplessness. And we thank God that schools are now going back face-to-face because this will alleviate some of this that has been happening. Of course, the children feel hopeless. They feel, you know, there's nothing there for them, locked away in their houses. They can't go to school. They don't have the devices and all of that. And they also have a feeling of loss or rejection. And during the COVID time here, a lot of loss has been happening. Children losing their parents, you know, their loved ones, their friends. And so they just feel, wow, this is it. They can't be bothered. And what do? Can lead to suicide. And so we as Kiwanians, we need to be able to look out for some of these risk factors. We need to be able to try to help when it comes to these and have a close bond with the faculty advisors and their Kiwanian advisors, and also the schools that we sponsor, our youth. We have to have a close relationship. This is why we ought to take the youth protection policies real serious, okay? Now, we have goals and we want to protect, we want to educate, we want to engage all Kiwanian members, youth and adults. We want to show you how to protect youth members from predators. We want to make sure you are empowered and you can educate the adult members with the best practices when working with the youth. And we want to be able to provide youth with positive skills, development tools to inspire and engage our future leaders. Okay, now youth protection is accessible, high quality training, and we have a lot of resources. Lots and lots and lots of resources. We know that Kiwanis is a university, right? You can just access almost any and everything. It's right there at your fingertips. We have the background checks and beyond, and we'll speak about background checks because there's just so much, you know, to talk about on background checks. So we can't do it all here tonight. So we recommend that you still log on and check out all of these things. Culture of care, yes, we're also going to go through that too in this presentation. Now, we did say, what I'm going to ask you to do before I go further is to Make sure you log your questions. At the end of it, we can have a discussion. And we really want to have a discussion. It proves well when we have a discussion, okay? So we say that Kiwanis has a wealth of information. So when you log on to Kiwanis Youth Protection, you can pick up on youth policies and procedures, background checks, youth protection training, culture of care. You can just get onto any of these programs and you can read up on exactly, because we can't do all of it tonight, okay? Now, education. Every Kiwanis club is expected to inform their members and to have them educated on these policies. By the way, it's really guidelines we hardly use anymore. It's really policies, because these policies are there now. It's not like just an ordinary guideline. Policies are made and must be adhered to. So we want to educate you all on these policies, the best practices. And we're asking you that you make sure your club members are engaged in these processes too, where they will log on, learn more about it. They will join some of these training presentations on youth policies. There are the districts will have forums and workshops at conventions and conferences. So you can look forward to workshops coming up in 2022, God's willing, on youth protection policies at any of these. You can also pick up some of these forums at our youth, the Key Club conventions, Circle K conventions, all of our SLP conventions. There is always a part there where you can learn more about youth protection policies. At the club leadership education, it's not really currently available right now in Kiwanis Connect, but training slides you can access at kiwanis.org, youth protection website. So it's there. There's no need to say you don't know or you don't know where to find. Now, in the far right-hand corner, you see youth protection policy and procedures. This is just a pre-saved version of the entire document, really. So this is easy and simple to have, handy. So what we encourage you to do is to download, you may print it, and you may give it to your members. You may email it to your members. Members can log on and look at it. And when you're having your inductions, make sure this is in the package that you will hand out to your new Kiwanians. I did say there's a lot of training in Kiwanis. We're not lacking in education and information. The youth protection courses, and this is developed by Presidium, is another one of the courses that you can log on to, you can enroll, and it has a wealth of information. You are going to need a password. So you need to get on site and then apply to do the course. It has a chaperone course, teaches you what it entails to be a chaperone, and you're going to learn about background checks and everything again. Okay, faculty advisors are not really required to complete the program, the courses, but you can get access for knowledge. Okay, so you can encourage your faculty advisors to log on and get the information, get a password and go and get the information, because it offers them especially the chaperone training that they would probably want to learn more about. Background checks. Background checks. Now, Kiwanis International requires clubs to have a clear criminal history background check for anybody. I want you to listen carefully now to what we're going to talk about. Anybody, any member who is serving as an advisor to any of the service leadership programs, whether it's Circle K, Key Club, Builders, K-Kids, or Action Club, you will need to have a background check done by Kiwanis International. Not a background check done by a job that you had held before, not a background check done by our local police force here. And I can tell you that the latest conversations that have been going around is, why can't we have background checks done by our local police? Kiwanis International, we are a member of an international company. That's in that I call it company, but we are a member of Kiwanis International. They have rules, they have bylaws. Okay, so no point in saying you are not going to do it. If you want to be a member of a service leadership advisor, you need to do the background check. All right, we will talk more about it as we go along. Now, when you think of your faculty advisor, the faculty advisor is also required to have a background check done. However, there are two scenarios where this is concerned, because people do ask, faculty advisors themselves do ask, but why I have to have one? Okay, now listen, this is it. If the faculty advisor works with students just at school, you know, they have their meetings, they have their events at school, their school background check is sufficient. That background check that they get as a teacher, that's sufficient. However, that faculty advisor should have our Kiwanis youth protection policy. They should know it and they should adhere to the policies, okay? Also to the standards of their schools policies that they have when it comes to conduct. So they do not have to have the background check done by Kiwanis. Got that clear? That's the teacher, faculty advisor who is working with the child on premises. They're not going to any events to have to take them out of school, off the compound, with Kiwanis, with them, doing a project. The second scenario is the faculty advisor. They work with the students on school premises and they also attend events outside of the normal school activities, meaning that they would go overnight with the children to conventions and so on, and taking them out for a day, they need to have their background checks also done. Okay, because it's not only that day that they're going to go, they're going to be going multiple times with the children off the school premises. This faculty advisor has to have an approved background check through Kiwanis. All right, they will be required to take the chaperone training via Presidium that we just spoke about, and they should review the youth protection policies on an annual basis. So clubs, you need to make sure that your faculty advisor is following the Kiwanis youth protection policies. You have to ensure that this happens. Now remember, you know, that there is a cost to doing your background checks. If you are a Kiwanian advisor, your background check would cost $25 US. If you're a faculty advisor, background check would cost $25 US. Now we are recommending to our clubs that they assist in getting the payment through for their faculty advisor and their Kiwanian advisor. Okay, we'll talk a little more about that later on, but it will cost. If you are not an advisor or not a faculty advisor, but you are still interested in working with the youth, because remember, we serve children. All of us at some point will need to be associated with the children. We're going to need to be around them. And it's just right that each of us that we are going to be serving our children, that we are eligible and we're the right fit to look after our youth. So I started out this program by saying all Kiwanians should have background checks done, even though it's going to cost more for the non-advisors to have it done. You should still try to get it done. Your club can assist in some way. Think about it. Now the chaperone policy for Kiwanians, and if parents want to to be a chaperone, they can also, but they must have a clear background check done. Now, chaperones must be 21 years old or older. Before now, we used to have our Key Club members helping us, looking after the little ones when we take them out. We used to have our Circle K members who are under 21 helping us. But what Kiwani's policy is now saying, you must be 21 years old or older. And all chaperones participating in any single day event or school premises must have a clear background check done. They also must have completed the Kiwani's International Youth Protection Training, and they must follow all applicable youth protection policies and procedures. Okay, now we're going to come, the next discussion will be the minimum, how the ratio of chaperones to students. Now remember, when we used to take kids out, we would have 100 children, and maybe we just have 2 or 3 persons. At that time, we didn't call them chaperones, just the Kiwanians helping out. But what Kiwanis is now saying, no longer is this going to happen. We must have 1 chaperone who has a background check done to 10 students. Okay, adult chaperones must include 1 adult male for each 10 youth male or any part of. So if you have 12, you're going to have 2 adult males. If you have 12 adult female, youth females, you're going to need 2 adult female to be a chaperone. Okay, so remember, chaperones are not just persons who jump up and say, I will help. They have to have their background check done. A question was posed recently, if a parent wants to just go to a function with, because their child or children, they are there at the function, if they can just hop on for the ride. Yes, they can hop on for the ride, but that's exactly what they're doing. Hopping on for the ride, but they can't participate in the project itself because they will have to be a chaperone. If they want to assist with the students in a tangible way, they must be trained as a chaperone and have that background check. Adults may not share sleeping quarters with students unless it is their child or it's in a bunkhouse situation, a camp sort of situation. Now we're coming to social media, which is very, very important, especially in these times. And we're saying, Kiwanis is saying, best bet, connect via a club page or a club account and not individual youth members account. So you want to get online, connect through your page, connect through your club's page. Don't use your personal page or any individual youth member account. So a Circle K who is under 21s, you don't want to use their account number. Neither would you want to use a Key Club member who has a personal account. Never do that. Never initiate following, friending, or liking posts. However, you can like educational posts that kids might post and say, Miss, I want you to like my post because it is of use to other students or use to adults too. Okay, but don't go liking posts. And you know what I'm talking about. Liking posts that are not educational for the use of other students. Never post pictures of youth on your personal social media pages. Now this whole picture thing with the youth, I like to talk about it a little because we do a lot of projects and we were not doing face-to-face much, but it's coming in little by little. And so we need now to exercise our policy, the youth protection policy, by not going around and taking pictures and posting on your personal social media pages. Before you even go, like say you're going to a home, you need to get permission to take pictures of those youth that are there. Never just go snapping. And sometimes when you go now, you know, they're asking you, are you going to take pictures? We don't allow pictures because we have to have permission before we can allow you to take pictures. So they are now asking, because we don't want to see a front page of the Gleaner or the Observer with a group of children or a child, and we didn't get permission to do that. That could spell trouble. Okay, that could spell trouble. And when in doubt, follow the rule of 3. Always include the parents, guardians, or any other adult. And at this point, I will also now say to you that our District Administrator, Christopher Humber, our Assistant District Administrator, Audrey Brown, and also Assistant District Administrator, Selena Campbell from Capital City, they are a part of the entire youth protection policies. They are a part of the SLP program. And so they can be contacted, myself can be contacted if you are in doubt about anything. You may contact any one of us to get information or to answer any of your questions whenever you are in doubt. And of course, we talked about the various social media, Twitter, Facebook, and all of those. Now, I want to, before I get to here, is to remind us of when we're on virtual meetings with our youth is there. We have to follow certain protocol. And we have to understand that we are teaching the youth and we want to teach them right. Now, we must make sure that we have our virtual background properly set up. Kiwanis has a lot of things now that you can use for your virtual backgrounds. Okay, make sure it's appropriate for our children. Make sure that you are attired appropriately. You know, just not the top, but everything, every part of you from head to toe should be properly attired, that in case you're asked to stand, you stand without even thinking, oh my, you know. So make sure that you are properly attired. You can have your Kiwani shirt on. Make sure your hair is looking tidy. And also to make sure that background noises are at a minimum. Sometimes it happens that your mic, maybe you're not sure and it just gets open. It happens sometimes. But make sure that your mic is closed when you're not speaking. When you're going to speak, make sure you open your mic and you also open your camera so that our youth can see our faces, and also the youth, we ask them to open so we can see their faces. All right, so those are some of the policies that we need to make sure happens when we are online with our youth. We are training them, and this virtual things that we have now, programs that we have now, lots of things can go wrong. Lots and lots of things can go wrong, but we have to be careful and we have to make sure that our youth are being trained properly. Now, when it comes to the background checks and your virtual meetings, we advise that programs to have at least 2 to 3 background check adults online. Okay, they can be advisors or chaperones, and they will be participating in the program. And so whether it's a small group or a large group, it behoves us to have somebody, 2 persons at least on who has a background check. And why is this so? This will discourage inappropriate one-on-one engagement and can help to hold student members and other advisors accountable to the code of conduct. Because remember, you know, online we have chat rooms, we have one-on-one chat, breakout rooms rather, and we can talk to each other on a one-on-one basis. So we want to make sure that everything is above board. So we're saying when you're having meetings with the youth involved, make sure that you have someone, 2 persons at least, who have background checks online. And we also are asking, because what is happening now is that a lot of after meeting jams take place, you know, partying and drinking and whatever for the adults. You want to make sure that your children or youth are not a part of that, so you are able to control. And control, I mean, I was on a meeting the other night and the meeting was finished and the president started asking, based on his looking in the participants, all who are still there as youth, and ask them, you know, please kindly to log off, no, in a nice way, to log off, because what's going to happen next, you know, it's for the adults. So you must make sure that your youth is not on after you have closed the meeting. Another thing that we need to encourage is for our youth to advise the clubs when they are going to be coming to meetings, doing interclubs, etc. We must remember that to tell them they should get in touch with their advisor and let them know they will be attending the meeting. So we will know exactly how to prepare for them. So remind your SLP programs, your SLPs, that they should advise you when they're attending. Of course, some of them are going to pop up, you know, but you can't stop that from happening. But at least if they pop up, you are to be prepared to accept them and to make sure you're following the youth protection policies. Now, best practices when it comes to transportation. And this has been a little controversial recently in some of the meetings that I've attended. But the policy for at least 3 persons in a motor vehicle still maintains. Not 2, but 3, at least 3. You can have 4 if you wish, depending on the size of the car, but we should not go under 3. Okay? Students must ride in the back. Approval must be had from parents or guardian to have picking up children or children traveling with you. The parents must have given approval. So if you are in doubt again, you may call one of us and let us talk about this. Now, I forgot to mention that at a church service, at say the Key Club church service, you would have at least 100, more than, so hundreds of children attending the church service. Again, I want to encourage that you plan this properly along with the ADCs for the church service, and make sure that everything is planned to the T, adhering to the youth protection policies. And that means a 1 in 10 for the chaperones. Make sure face-to-face is coming back slowly. So we have to now make sure that we are going to adhere to the policies of youth protection. Medication. Possession of prescription and non-prescription medication should only be allowed with written permission. And what is that saying? Oftentimes we know there are students who they're asthmatic, or they have to take medication at a certain time of the day. Now we have to be sure that parents had this written and gave the permission to allow us, not us as Kiwanians, to prescribe. We don't prescribe or dispense, but we would have the appropriate personnel at that function to be able to give the drugs. And we're talking about, say, for example, a child has a headache and you remember that you had a Panadol or two in your handbag and you just pop it out and say, here, take that for your headache. No, you can't do that. That child may react to that drug and we would be in trouble. So you need to be very careful about that. If it is a prescribed medication, written permission has to be given. And this is where our planning now will take place, where if it's, say you're at a fun day, you must have at that fun day a medic station where the kids can go if something serious happens. The trained personnel is there, and along with the written permission that they can dispense whatever it is that the child needs to be. Some of these children dispense their own medication, like their pumps. They dispense their own pumps. Okay, but we must make sure that we never ever dispense to the child unless we have the permission from the parent or guardian. This is a form, if you're noticing, this is an authorization to attend and emergency medical treatment to be given. So once the parents sign this off, there are some schools that will have similar forms that are, once a child starts school and they are interested in doing service through, whether it's Kiwanis or others, they have a form where the parents would sign and it's kept on their record. But don't, anywhere you're going with the children, make sure that you have authorization forms completed by the parent or guardian. And it's also advisable, if you want to keep a copy on your file, you can do so. But you must have information on that child and know. So there we go again. Planning a trip is very important. You have to plan properly. Plan properly so that we can adhere to the youth protection policies. Reporting troubling behavior. Now, sometimes we take our kids out and while traveling with them, something may happen, or you might have observed something peculiar. Act on it. If it's something that you really need to find out more about of a particular child or children, please act on it. It might be a situation that is illegal or potentially unsafe, and you don't want to turn a blind eye. So this is either before or after the event. Before, you might capture something that's going on in the back of the bus, or a child might have said something and, or somebody has something that can be potentially unsafe for both that child and the rest of the students traveling. And if it's after, you also need to report it, because you do not want that after an event, everybody had a good time, but something happened at the event and somebody's now letting you know that what happened. It could be a child, that's letting you know what took place. And it may not at the time of the event show its head, but maybe 6 weeks after, a parent would come to the school and say, my daughter, something had happened at the event and they're sure it's a Kiwanis event, etc., etc. Then trouble sets in. We don't want that. So if you know about it, report it and do not leave it unattended once you are advised of it. There is a youth protection helpline, and this helpline, it assists persons to call in. It's staffed 24 hours, 7 days a week. And calls will be routed to the youth protection team where they will get answers as to what. Now we're saying in Jamaica, you can call us, a team that we have. If you notice, this is an 866 number. So you can speak to a Kiwanian on the team I just spoke about, told you about, or you can call one of your presidents or the LG or somebody to find out what should you do. LG might direct you to the team that I just spoke of. But it's important for you to make sure that you have someone that you can report incidences to. Now we're going to talk about background checks. Now, I started out by saying background checks, very controversial these days because persons are saying they don't want to do it. But once you are an advisor or faculty advisor, you must do the background check. This is just showing you currently persons that are equipped with background checks. The KI International Board, headquarters staff. When it comes down to the teacher, faculty advisor, if you're serving as a chaperone, you should have your background check done. But what we all have in common, if you see all the X's down, is for us to review the youth protection policy annually. And you can go online and do that. We're now doing that tonight, but you can also do that at your own, in your own time. All right, where the Presidium courses are concerned, it's entirely up to you if you would like to do the Presidium, but we encourage our advisors to do it, also our faculty advisor, or anyone who wants to be a chaperone should really go ahead and do the Presidium. How do I get a background check done? Now, the background check, all advisors must have that. We have cleared that and we know that you should have. And once you're an advisor, you are going to have to use Safe Hiring Solutions. They conduct the the background checks in the US and in Jamaica. They do the searches through Safe Hiring, which is a vendor for Kiwanis International. Again, it says again, all chaperones must have that. If you are a non-member, if you are not a Kiwanian advisor, you can do your background check. It's going to cost more. It costs between 82 and 84 US dollars. But don't get alarmed about it. If you plan to become an advisor, just speak to your president and go through your club that you want to be an advisor, and they will arrange to have your background check done. You would you would send an email to backgroundcheck@kiwanis.org requesting that you want to become get your background check done, and they will send you further information as how to continue. What you're really going to get is Safe Hiring sending you a form that you need to complete. And once you complete that form, they will also now ask you to send a copy of your passport or your ID and they will take it from there. You pay the money, they will take it from there. It takes about 2 weeks to get your background check done through Safe Hiring. Now, I want to say at this point, you see, that in Canada, they use a local police check and they pay like 10 Canadian dollars, okay? We don't have that facility here yet. So if you want your background check done, we have to go through KI and through Safe Hiring. All right, there may come a time, I think they're working on now, which is what I need to just mention, that we have been in discussion about that we may be able to, at some later date, use the local police based if Kiwanis International says, and this is for persons who are not going to be Kiwanian advisors and they want to get their background check done. They may be able to use the local police, but I will update the clubs more on this as the information comes in, okay? The club secretary is very important to our background checks and indeed our policies and Kiwanians youth protection policies, because they can go online, they can check for you, where are you with your background check? They can also say whether it's expired or when is your next date to get your background check done. They can check, and that would be very helpful to the presidents. So we're asking presidents to make sure you have hands-on to the information in terms of your secretary feeding you with information as to your advisors who have background checks, also your faculty advisors who are in need of background checks, and to help. This is just giving you the North American youth protection compliances. This has improved over last year greatly because more persons are now reporting that they have completed their training and they're getting background checks done for their advisors. Okay, so this figure, I would think that by January of next year, these figures will change. And we also now are getting the risk management report that will come soon, where we can now advise clubs as to what is happening where the management of these risks are concerned. How much is Kiwanis paying out, if they have paid out any, because remember, with your the dues that you pay, your dues include the fund monies for the, wow, it slipped me now, that insurance that we pay, liability insurance. Your dues include a liability insurance, so we should be able to claim for certain liabilities that may happen. So we're going to get information very soon as to those claimants and what the areas that there are claims, and we will see what areas that are being affected by this whatever is happening in our movement. I did mention club secretaries really should monitor the background check status of their advisors. Very important. It lies in the Kiwanis Connect. So they can log on and advise the president as to what is next. Should we replace any advisors? Recently, clubs have been getting letters from KI saying that this advisor is off, and the reason for that is that they do not have a background check. So you need to either encourage that person to get their background check done or to replace them. And how do you replace if you don't have persons within the club that have background checks? So you need to encourage non-members, and you can even want to pay for them if you so desire. Remember, you can budget to pay for your Kiwanian advisor and your faculty advisor, and you can claim that under your administrative or service account. So there's no excuse not for you to assist, because remember, these two persons are very important to our program, our SLP, all right? Very important. And we don't want to lose them. We want to encourage them to continue serving our youth. The goal is to have 100% background check done, compliant, and I would say by the year next year, 2022, early 2022, we need to have this done. All right, so we want you to encourage everyone, all your advisors, to have this done. Creating a culture of care. This is for our key clubs and our circle Ks. What it is really is that it's an initiative that provides students with the training and resources to be leaders in their school. And this helps them to identify and prevent bullying, reducing incidences of violence. Remember, we spoke about this at the beginning, bullying and so on. Understanding healthy relationships, personal boundaries, and more. This is key to our youth. And if they want to get online training, they can log on and we make sure that they can access the training, because at the end of it, they also would get certification on the programs that they had joined in. Now, it gives positive youth and young adult development resources. It has for them development resources, parent resources on youth development, adult leader resources. And the culture of care workshops, it's like they have out of bounds, healthy boundaries. You know, where do I go from here? Oh, is it the right place I'm going? You're talking to me, effective communication with peer. We realize that we need this in the schools. We need this among our circle cares, among our key clubbers. Okay, am I just a bystander, or am I doing, you know, am I just looking on? We need you to get involved. We need them to get involved and training the trainer. Okay, so workshops have passed, so we can look forward to upcoming workshops where we can encourage the Key Club students to be a part of this program. Also, our Circle K students also be a part of the program because their workshops are very interesting also, dating and healthy relationships, how to access resources on campus, and how to be an upstander and not just looking on, and be upstanding in their schools, okay, and training the trainer. Also, very important. Again, we need to look forward to the upcoming, because the workshops have passed, but we need to look forward to the upcoming and encourage our youth to join in these programs. And remember, they're certified. What is next for the culture of care? We want to expand the culture of care to more students. And we can do that by us encouraging them. The anti-bullying conversations, encourage them to the Erica's Lighthouse Partnership for Key Club and Builders Club. And this is really like a teaching them how to identify with problems early, okay? Active Minds Partnership for Circle K International. And so we look forward to taking it to this extent here. Youth Protection Week has passed, and so we know that clubs have participated, and next year we promise, God's willing, that we're going to have a very active Youth Protection Week. By then, a lot of persons would have now been aware of the youth protection policies and want to participate. Remember, you can do all your inquiries and requests on any go. Just log on to kiwanis.org, background checks, youth protection, and culture of care to get more information. Now, remember, this is just a synopsis. You need to log on and get more information, make it a part of your curriculum, with your Kiwanis curriculum, to log on, learn more, participate in some of the programs, get certified, and you will then understand. Because remember, we serve the children of the world. Never forget that. And we have to be updated on what is happening, and we have to keep ourselves informed so we can inform other persons as to protection of our youth. So President Cheryl, I have tried to go through, and I am sure that there may be questions or concerns, or just persons who would like to share any point of view with us this evening.
Okay, thank you. Oh, go ahead, you're not finished?
No, go ahead. I'm
right. I was saying thank you for sharing with us such useful and critical information. You have pointed us to various places where we can go to get same information and more. And I encourage all of us, whether we're SLP advisors, faculty advisors or not, to get all fair with this information. Are there any questions for DLG Bev? I saw some in the chat, and I know Secretary LaShawn was writing down. Secretary LaShawn, you want to go ahead with the first one?
Yes, there is one in the chat. I am going to read so DLG can answer. This one is from Treasurer Desmond. He wrote, I'm driving in Crossroad alone, and a member from, I think this is St. Hughes High School Key Club, who is walking along alone, asked me for a ride to attend a Kiwanis sponsored activity. What do I do?
That a hypothetical case or it actually happened?
I'm guessing it's a
hypothetical.
hypothetical. Yes.
Okay, so you're driving alone. That's a very tough one. I hope DA Chris is hearing that. You're driving alone and you see a student who has stopped you, or you stop to pick up that student, and you are in the car alone. You only have two of you there.
That's
And
correct.
the rule says it's three,
That's correct.
at least three. What do you do? Wow. My own thing, you're not going to want to leave the child because, I mean, hey, you have your background check done, I'm sure. And so you are eligible. But because of this, and I see my DA's hand up, and I'm sure he'll do a better job with that than I. Yes, DA Chris.
Yes, Auntie Bev, he can pick up the child, but what he needs to do is to call the child's parent.
Parents. Okay.
When he picks up the child, tell the parent what he's doing and follow the process to the point of the event and call the parent same way and keep the parent up to date as to what is happening.
What?
That's what you see. Okay, Prince, DP?
I have another question though, a follow-up. What if it is...
But you understood what DA Chris was saying.
Very well.
Yes, I make sure, right.
What if it is unrelated? If it doesn't relate to any ride that she's asking to any Kiwanis function, but is just to go somewhere else, maybe to the bus stop or somewhere on Kiwanis related. What do I do?
Well, dear Chris, I think you should still call the parent and say what's happening. It has nothing to do with Kiwanis, but it's one of your students. So you would have to still call the parent to say, I see Mary here, I'm gonna give her a ride, and I'm at so-and-so now by a certain time, we should be wherever. Is that okay with you? That's how I would probably do the conversation.
DLG Keith's hand is up. Thank you, DLG Bev.
Sorry, before we go to DLG Keith, DP, you was that answer good enough for you?
Yes.
I know what's going on in your head.
I'll accept that. There could be follow-ups, but I'll leave it at that. But I'll accept that.
All right. Okay, DLG Keith, yes.
Thank you, DLG Bev. I was just thinking through while the first part of the question was asked about in terms of a Kiwanis function. I think, and I think you did mention it in your presentation, but I know sometimes it might not be as planned as it is because it might be the SLP attending perhaps, let's say an adult Kiwanis club function, almost as if interclubbing. I believe that when those things are happening, and I know it's not happening now because of pandemic, but the SLPs should through their faculty advisors, those things should be properly planned to the point that exactly how they're going back, how they're getting there, how they're getting back home. Many students are actually used to taking bus home normally. And so they may just go to the event thinking we can get back home. But sometimes, depending on the time of the function when it ends, we really, as adults, are concerned about how they're getting home and getting home safe, especially in these times. And so it really should be carefully planned. The faculty advisor should be properly involved. I don't think SLP should just get up on their own and say, we're going to visit this adult club. And therefore, down to the plan should go right down to how they're getting home and we're so comfortable. And as you mentioned, the parents should also know where they're at, when it should end and when they're leaving to go home.
Thank you, dear G. Keith, because too, at a meeting before, we had that conversation that the youth need to let their club know that they're coming. And it's all about planning, because if you're going to take them out on an event, then that event needs to be planned to the T. If you're having a club meeting that involves, say for example, Key Club Week has just passed and lots of things were happening. Those events will have to have been planned properly. So you know that we are getting 20 persons from Immaculate, and how many of them, and this is what we discussed at that meeting recently, how many of them are going to be needing a ride home? So you can actually work it out. And if needs be, you get additional transportation to take them home. So it would be a planned thing that you work out. But as you said many times, some of these are unplanned, and a whole host of them come down on the meeting, and many of them don't know how they're reaching home. Many of their parents don't know that they went to a Kiwanis meeting, and it's just a whole lot of things that we have to help them to sort out and sit with them and advise them. Because if you have a meeting where the students are going to be there, and in talking, you're understanding from some of them that, listen, my mother didn't know I was coming, and now, you know, how am I going to get home? I'm going to get home late and it's going to be trouble and all of that. That's another whole lecture in which we need to speak to them about, you know. But planning is important, and we need to really make sure that the faculty advisor and the Kiwanian advisor both are talking, and also the president of the club talking to the event that's coming up. Are we expecting our SLPs? Do we know how many, etc., etc. So it's all about planning.
Okay, thank you, DLG Bev and DLG Keith, for that question. Very interesting topic. However, in the essence of time, we're not allowed to take any more questions. But I want to say thank you, DLG Bev, and thank you guys for being here to listen to this interesting and informative presentation. Before I take announcements, I just want to say thank you to all the persons who might have come in after we started. I saw our club coach, DP Chris. Welcome to our meeting, and all the other persons who joined late. Secretary LaShawn, are there any announcements?
Okay, first, are there any announcements from our visiting clubs? Visiting clubs, are there any announcements? Going once? Going twice? Okay, that's gone. All right, so there are no announcements from our visiting clubs. So we have one announcement. Please remember our seafood fiesta. That will be on December the 3rd. Please, if there are any orders, please send it to our president or our treasurer Desmond, right? Tickets are still here, and we need your full support and cooperation in executing this fundraiser. All right, I think that's it, President Cheryl.
I think DLG Keith might have an announcement. DLG Keith, you're still here?
Yes, I was just about to come in. Thank you, President Cheryl. Fellow CSO members and Kiwanians all, because this event is open to everyone. The Kiwanis Club of 23 Central Sorian Line is presenting the first in its quarterly series of Kiwanis education. And at this meeting, sorry, not meeting, the first session will be this Saturday, November the 20th. Registration at 9:30. This session will commence at 10 a.m. Our presenter or facility, the topic is on
Chairman.
Can't remember the actual theme. We have a nice theme for it.
I think it says something like chairman, the engine of the club, or something like that.
Yes, the engine to success of the club, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. So that the facilitator or presenter is DLG Robert Winter from well, he's from two clubs, Kiwanis Club Ligani and St. Thomas. And of course, everyone knows he's also a strategic planner figure and trainer. So he will be presenting this Saturday. And the duration is expected to be a 2-hour program. There's no cost. So the link will be circulated shortly. The flyer has been circulating in some groups. We'll continue to circulate and advertise, but the link will be sent shortly for that event. So please put that on your calendar and look out for the flyer and the registration link.
Thank you, Dale G. Keith. P.E. Jordan, I saw your hand up.
Thank you, President. Good evening again, all. Just 2 announcements from the Human and Spiritual Committee. We have a parental empowerment session coming up this month. We know that it's Parents Month, and we're going to be having our own session looking at Parents Month. We're inviting all Kiwanians and all parents of our different SLP programs to be a part. The theme for Parents Month this year is a positive parenting impacting generations, and we're going to be having our empowerment session on a Saturday, the 27th of November at 7 p.m. Of course, via Zoom. We'll be having a special guest speaker, Reverend Dr. Andrew Henry. He is a guidance counselor, and he will be coming to empower our parents. So we are especially inviting our Kiwanian parents and parents of SLPs to join us next week, Saturday. I think it's next week. It's the 27th at 7 p.m. Also, we have our church service coming up on December 19th. So you can just slot that in. You can join us via Zoom. We'll be visiting the Richmond Park Church of the Nazarene, and the links would be shared later on. Thank you.
Thank you, P.E. Jordan. So we're asking
President Sharon, may I just also thank DLG Gerthlin and Kiwanian Cillian from KCNK, and also President Ashira and her team from Barbican for the support on this meeting today.
Okay, thank you. And let me add my own thanks to them as well.
DLG Bev.
Yes, thank you, DLG Gerthlin, for being a part of her team. Okay.
President Sharon, before you close, I'm sorry, I was distracted when your secretary was calling for announcements. My biggest apologies. I'm just inviting everyone tomorrow to KC-FAB meeting. We are having the LG on our official visit, and we are having Governor Kyle. Is that Governor Kyle? Yes, Governor Kyle is our guest speaker. For Circle K, Governor Kyle, yes. So DA, we want you to bring all the children across to hear Governor Kyle, the young people, pardon me about the children, so that they can relate to him. So that's what we're having, and it's LG Rosemary's official visit to KC-FAB. So thank you for facilitating me, Madam President.
You're most welcome, yes, Paulette. Before I close, I just want to say that earlier I should have done our early bird prize to our member who was first to arrive at the meeting. We want to foster a culture of punctuality, and so tonight our early bird member is Kiwanian Melvin, and he will get for himself K23 Central CSO personalized armband. I don't know if you're still here, Kiwanian, but this armband is here for you. Personalized, it says 23 KC23 CSO. We will link up for you to get it. Okay, I see President Treasurer Desmond's hand is up, and Chris from KCC. I'll take Chris first.
Good evening again, everyone. On November 17,
we're having a guest speakers night at KCCA, Parent in this Crisis. The link will be sent as it has been provided.
Okay, thank you. General Desmond, you had something?
Well, my task is a vote of thanks.
Okay, not yet. DP Josephine, you may go ahead.
Okay, thank you, President Cheryl. I was not my device when you were doing an announcement. I was in the kitchen attending to my grandson. But I just want to announce that the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville is having its annual Christmas raffle. This which will be drawn the 18th of December. It's a wheelbarrow of groceries, the wheelbarrow and the groceries, first prize, second prize a tablet, and third prize a basket of groceries. Tickets only $100, but what we're trying to do, we're selling an entire book. The entire book is for $1,000. It has 12 tickets in, so you pay for 10 tickets and you get 2 tickets free. Asking that members on the platform to support our wheelbarrow of grocery raffle. You can, not because you are a distance from us, you can still support. You can get our account number, put the money in our account, and then you get in touch with myself or even our president and give us the information, what to put on the ticket, how to write up the ticket for you. So the ticket will be there to be in the raffle when we draw it on the 18th of December. So I'm looking forward to get support from our Kiwanian family members outside of Mandeville for our annual Christmas raffle. Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question about that, DP Josephine? Is
Yes,
it a
DLG Bev.
Is it a real wheelbarrow?
Yes, a wheelbarrow that you, if you're doing construction, you have the wheelbarrow to use. A wheelbarrow.
It's a real one.
Real wheelbarrow and the groceries in it.
What?
The wheelbarrow and the groceries, the first prize.
Okay, thank you. Thank
You're
you for
most
that,
welcome.
DP Josephine.
You're most welcome.
Okay, if you have the account, you could publish.
Pardon
Sorry?
me?
If you have the account, you can share it in the chat before we close.
Oh, it's a shame I don't have the club account with me.
All right.
I could give you my account because pardon me?
Go ahead.
Okay, let me give you my account.
Just share it in the chat, DP Josephine.
Okay, no
Thank you.
problem.
Was somebody else trying to say something? There was some cross interference there. Somebody was trying to say something? Okay, all right. So I thank you for that. And I now ask Treasurer Desmond to do vote of thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, President. DLG Bev, on behalf of President Cheryl and all the members of the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central Surrey Online, we thank you for doing your presentation to us on the youth protection guidelines. The statistics that you gave in the opening on the level of abuse of our children, really, I must say that's really alarming. But of course, in keeping with the motto of Kiwanis International, and our main purpose is serving the children of the world, we just want to ensure that we do all that is necessary to ensure the safety and protection of our children. And of course, we just want to see greater compliance in everything really, coupled with the background checks that we expect to have from our Kiwanians. But let me thank also. So thank you, DLG Bev, for coming and making such a lively presentation. To those who participated in the opening exercise, you already see Kiwanian, you already see President Cheryl, of course, for the invocation. P.E. Jardine, thank you, sir, for doing the welcome and introduction. And of course, to our Secretary, LaShawn Lewis. Thank you all, and let me thank all attendees, all our Kiwanians and SLPs and guests, and the members of the Kiwanis Club of 23 Central for attending. Thank you very much, and have a good evening.
And just want to add, Treasurer Desmond, thanks to LG Rosie for.
Thank you. Thank you, LG Rosie. Thank you very much for
Thank you, President.
gracing us with your
Treasurer
presence.
Desmond.
Thank
And
you.
I saw that DA Humble came out to support and brought along his team in the form of the SLPs as well. Thank you, DA Humble.
Anytime, President Cheryl.
It was good to be here.
All right, thank you. So I want to thank everybody for being here. And you are welcome to our next meeting, which we will advertise, and you will get the link. Please go out and read up on these guidelines, whether you're, as I said, a faculty advisor, an advisor, just a regular member. I think it is good for us to know what is expected of us, so we too can see what's happening and know if we're in breach of any of these policies. So at this time, thank you, Treasurer Desmond. At this time, we will raise our glasses, imaginary glasses or otherwise, a toast to Kiwanis International, Friends of Jamaica. This meeting is now terminated. Thank you all for being here. Have a pleasant night. Well, we're not journeying anywhere, so enjoy the rest of your evening.